All right, what's up, everybody? Once again, we are locked in a dungeon with me, Frank Red. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and excuse me for my tardy introduction. A couple of things came up the last couple of minutes. I had to take care of those, but we are live and direct on air following the New York Knicks second victory in as many games over the Indiana Pacers, 130 to 121. And as a loyal New York Knicks fan, I want to come on air to just kind of calm everybody down. And I think I don't really have to do that for most Knicks fans because they're definitely one of the more intelligent basketball NBA fanships in the league. And I would say sports fans in general, they really understand the greater context of what's going on. And the bottom line is they want to see the Knicks playing with full effort. That's the history of the franchise when they've been any good. We've had decades where people just kind of put the uniform on, and as fans, we say, who are these guys? They don't resemble the New York Knicks players that we love and have helped make heroes. And it's interesting watching the Knicks play tonight. I'm looking at some guys on the court now that whether or not they win a championship is a subplot to what they represent as Knicks. As much as I loved watching Dante DiVincenzo play, as a member of the Golden State Warriors, watching him, he was born to be a Knick. I mean, he plays like a New York Knick. Bill Bradley with athleticism, selfless as can be on the court, intelligence, great teammate. I love watching him play. And then you got Josh Hart, somebody who doesn't think he can't do anything on the court. He's 6'4", essentially playing a power forward position and dominating at 6'4". A power forward / point guard / defensive stopper. Love watching Josh Hart play. And then you have the closer and Jalen Brunson, and there were some some breathtaking moments in the second quarter. Actually, in the first quarter, he missed the entire second quarter after having some type of freak injury that led to him hurting his right foot. And I think at that point, most of us felt that he was not going to play anymore, which put the Knicks in a real difficult situation against the Pacers. This series is going 6 games. I thought it would go 6. There's nothing that I've seen from the Pacers that would suggest that it's going to go less than 6, maybe even 7 games. What Indiana has not been able to do is they haven't been able to use their bolted pace as an advantage against the Knicks. In spite of the Knicks only playing 8 players. This is a vintage, quintessential Tom Thibodeau type team. They play until they die, figuratively. That's what they do. And I think New York Knicks fans love to see that. Basketball fans love to see that. So we can talk about this particular game. It was the only game that took place tonight. 130 to 121. New York Knicks, they now lead the series in the semifinals in the Eastern Conference, 2-0. They strap it up again on Friday in Indianapolis. And I expect that to be an absolute battle. Not saying the Knicks can't win, but when you look at OG Anunoby going down, doesn't look like he's going to play. I'd be shocked if he plays. Looks like he got a hamstring injury. There's no telling how many games he might miss. I didn't see that coming, y'all. I did not see that coming. I've been following OG since he played in Indiana. And I saw him some on Toronto. This dude looks like an all-star. Every facet of the game He plays well. Great defender, a competent driver, good stationary perimeter, mid-range shooter, three-point shooter, tough as nails, can guard bigger players, can guard smaller players, doesn't complain, very quiet. Wow. So yeah, I'm geeked up. This was awesome. We can also get into some other games in the NBA as well. The Golden State Warriors are always a good topic on this particular show. And before you know it, free agency will be here. The Warriors will be in a situation where they have to seriously consider how can they get better moving forward. Because I don't think that the Warriors are that far off. I don't. A lot of people think it's just, quote, changing of the guards. I don't necessarily believe that. I think it's a year-to-year proposition. Nikola Jokic wins his third MVP. And I'm ambivalent about it. This was not his best year. And yet, he was awarded the MVP. I actually think that, how he expressed his desire to kind of get away from the NBA after winning the championship last year is coming back to bite him and his team in the butt, because he got other teams excited. And now they're down 0-2 to Minnesota, the Timberwolves, and it wouldn't surprise me if they go down 3-0. If they got swept, would not surprise me at all. But yeah, Nikola wins his third MVP. How do you feel about that? I don't think it was a great MVP candidate, to be quite honest with you. Had they gave it to SGA, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, I would have had no problem with that. But I don't think either guy just was so far ahead of everybody else. I don't believe that. My name is Frank Red. How y'all doing out there? If this is for the first time, I want to thank everybody for stepping in here. I'm going to get to some of the comments and continue to talk about tonight's game between the Knicks and the Pacers. And I'll throw some other topics out there as well. Hit me up on X if you don't follow me, at Big Frank Red. Subscribe to the show if you like what you hear. And hit the like button as well. You guys are doing a great job hitting the like button. So thank you. I really appreciate that. Continue to do that. SG starts off by saying, hi, Frank, and how are you doing this Wednesday night? I'm doing fine, man. I'm doing fine. How are you doing? I love your show, and tell other people to like and subscribe. Yeah, man. Thank you. I appreciate your loyal support. Vicky says, hi, Frank. Denver looks dead. The playoffs have been very good. Refs stand out of the way. I just love competition, Vicky. I love competition. When people start talking about dynasties without teams really playing well, I go, what are we looking at here? When I look at Denver and I look at Minnesota, I see a team in Minnesota that's like, we don't care what you did last year. We're going to play you. And I'm not saying that Denver can't come back and win that series. It's unlikely, but I think if they take a one-game approach, just win the next game, they could still win. But they got to strap it up. There's no freebies. And I think Denver was probably looking for some freebies. Their head coach wasn't. Now, I thought not bringing a Bruce Bowen type player back to the organization and losing a vet like Jeff Green, I thought that would hurt them. And there was a lot of scuttlebutt, a lot of talk about that not being the case. But those guys played their asses off last year. You can say that KCP is not 100%. He's injured. Okay. His production has taken a precipitous drop from last year. And if that's injuries, fine. But Anthony Edwards is giving him the business. I mean, they both from Atlanta. It's almost embarrassing because Anthony Edwards is, I mean, literally just like pushing him around the basketball court, showing that he's much stronger, rising up, getting any shot that he wants. This is KCP. KCP is a proud NBA player. This is a two-time NBA champion. And whatever success Denver thought that they might have against Anthony Edwards, playing him one-on-one with KCP, take that plan and throw it in the garbage because it's not working. Back to the drawing board. SG says, Frank, as a New York Knicks fan, you're going to ride with the Knicks and you're going to die with the Knicks. You know what? You might be right, but I am a basketball fan. I'm a Knicks fan first, a basketball fan second, and I just want to see them compete. I mean, they were only playing 7 guys anyway. Losing OG is horrible. That's going to really hurt them. But strap it up and go play, man. You know? Next year, the expectation of the Knicks will rise. This year, if they make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, I think most Knicks fans would be pretty happy if they played a competitive series, presumably against the Boston Celtics, and they lost. I think we would be okay with that because we're building for next year. Next year, the Knicks theoretically should be the first or second best team in the Eastern Conference. The San Jose Sharks got the first pick in the NBA draft, which is taking place in Las Vegas. Good for them. They need it. Mickey says, I hope the Warriors don't get James. I think that would be just a money play, not a championship play. Definitely a money play. And I would say that whether or not they would win a championship, Vicky, I don't know that. But they would not make a decision like that without thinking that he makes them better. Now, from your perspective, it sounds like you don't believe that he does make them better. And I get that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure based off what I saw last year because, having teammates throw grenades to Stephen Curry late in the game, expecting him to kind of save the world as Superman, I'm tired of that. That can't happen again. Stephen Curry has to have somebody who can carry the load sometimes. And LeBron, 39 years old, he has not shown any rust. So he's just that marvel that we haven't seen before. It wouldn't surprise me if he's able to play really, really high-level basketball for another 2 years. I think playing for the Warriors would be a godsend to him because the game would be so much easier. So much easier. Literally, LeBron would think he has died and gone to basketball heaven. Because the Warriors make the game easy. The passing, the cutting, the layups, the unselfishness, and all those variables that I think do build championship caliber teams. You could even see some Golden State Warrior influence on the Knicks. Now, I don't know if Dante's had real conversations, but they do some Knick-like stuff on the perimeter. You know, they're more athletic, but the passing and the cutting and just like the quick catch and release of Knicks players. I haven't seen the Knicks play that style of basketball in a long time. And that is, by definition, what the Golden State Warriors do. So I think the Warriors have even rubbed up on the Knicks in some respect. SG says, as the New York Knicks fans, we ride together, we die together. Why do you try to be funny, SG? I mean, dude, don't ever try to do stand-up. I wouldn't do it. Don't you try to do it either. Wow, Vicky, this is a hot take. Ant-Man should have been MVP. Wow. I think certainly next year he'll be viewed as a really strong MVP candidate, but so will Luka. So will Jokic. Who else? It's not a lot of guys out there, but I think he'll definitely be a candidate. SGA once again. I would love to see Jason Tatum step up, because he's right there, but he tends not to want the limelight. I tell you what, if Jaylen Brown plays like he's playing now, why can't he win the MVP? He's one of the best two-way players in all of basketball. Boston's going to be good. Embiid, he's won the MVP already at this point. I don't know. I recognize how good Joel Embiid is, but it's almost like a narrative that we've seen before. We know at some point in the playoffs, he's going to get hurt, and that's going to be it. Can you believe Philly has not gotten out of the second round since forever? And Nick Nurse kind of gets a pass his first year, but they barbecued Doc Rivers. Let's not forget that, y'all. Doc Rivers can't get out of the second round. Nick Nurse didn't get out of the second round either. Well, Joel was hurt. Yeah, he scored 50 points. Nobody said that then. There's always a built-in excuse for Joel Embiid. And I'm not saying he's not hurt. What I'm saying is that if I ever saw him in tip-top shape, I believe that some of these nagging injuries that he gets, he would be able to recover faster from, or his body would be able to sustain some of the punishment that it takes. But I've never seen it shake. Never. Bothers me. I'll do stand-up comedy and I'll be the funniest and make some great jokes. Really? Stop it. Mickey says the Warriors would have to give their rivals, the Lakers, all their younger players if they trade for James. We know some of the younger players that have to go. There's no doubt about that. But Vicky, I want to ask you an honest question though. And I started talking about this recently because it was kind of in an article. Somebody on X, quote, named the Warriors' younger players. How talented a group do you think they are? Collectively, I don't think they're that great. I don't. I think that I think they have promise. They have potential. But I can think of a lot of players along the same age line that are as good as the Warrior players and maybe even better. Let's talk about Jalen Williams, the kid from Santa Clara. And I think he was drafted 12th. He was in that Kuminga draft, right? That dude is a problem. As good as Luka is, Dallas really has nothing for him. Nothing at all. And you could talk about SGA. SGA is outstanding. But Jalen Williams, they call him Jalen Williams from Santa Clara. Listen, there's going to be many games in the future where he's their leading scorer. He's the prototype. 6'8", above average ball handling skills, has the mid-range, has a step back three. And while he's not Jonathan Kuminga athletically, he has above average athleticism, so he can finish at the top of the rim. That dude is talented. The only challenge that I think Jalen has is temperament. How good does he want to be? How's his swag game? Is he comfortable being the number 2, a number 3 guy? You got Chet, you got SGA, or is he willing to recognize that maybe he's the guy? Because what I saw during the regular season, and then what I saw him do in a 2 or 3 minute span against Dallas last night, he overwhelmed those guys. He made them essentially throw up the white flag. That's one of Sam Presti's best draft picks in his career. And this dude has had a wonderful career as a talent evaluator, NBA executive. But getting Williams out of Santa Clara, that might be the best example of talent evaluation that he's ever had. And I'm saying that he's had so many good ones. Again, drafting Russell Westbrook, number 3 or 4, was out of the universe. Nobody saw that coming. Russell was a first ballot Hall of Famer, so maybe you don't get better than that. But Jalen Williams, man, is outstanding, no doubt about that. When you combine him with Chet, you combine him with SGA, they got a really, really good nucleus. SG, I'm not gonna make any more. I'm not gonna put any more comments about you being a comedian on air. Not doing that. You want to talk about sports? Let's talk about sports. Otherwise, just chill. Listen to the program. Vicky says, "I don't want the Lakers to be better." I get it, but the Lakers are gonna be better, Vicky. The Lakers being better hasn't really stopped the Warriors from winning 4 chips. So focus. I focus on how can the Warriors get better. If you're going to do a trade, if you're going to do transitions with other organizations, theoretically, everybody has to walk away feeling that they're getting something in return. But because of where the Lakers are in Los Angeles, the storied franchise that they are, the Lakers are going to have people wearing that uniform who are really good players. But the Golden State Warriors, to me, have shown that geography really doesn't matter to them, and plus, they're a better run organization. What I would ask you, Vicky, is when you look to the future, the best young asset the Warriors have is obviously Jonathan Kuminga. In your opinion, and everybody else's opinion, how good is he? Is he an all-star? Is he a guy who can lead the team? Because my biggest challenge with Kuminga is he's going to get paid a lot of money, which is okay. I like players making money. And I understand that he did not grow up in the United States. But when you hear Jalen Brunson talk, don't you want to put on a uniform and play with that guy? I mean, this dude has a contract that he's outplayed by 60, 70%. He's making 40% of what he should be making. And yet, he's so humble. He's so team-oriented. One of the realities that people don't want to really see, they talk like they do, but Warrior fans don't want to see this team without Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, and Klay Thompson. You talk about it like you do, but I'm telling you, you don't want to see that. That first year is not going to be pretty. Is Jonathan Kuminga the type of player that his teammates will follow in a positive way? Is he a leader? And you go, Red, he's only 21, 22. Now, listen. The NBA is on its own time. They don't follow regular, normal citizen time. You have X amount of years to get in there and get it done. Jonathan Kuminga's ascension from year 2 to year 3 was exceptional. He needs another one of those years. And even if he ascends in his basketball ability, that doesn't mean that he is that leader that I think all great teams need. I'm interested in getting your thoughts on it. SC says thoughts on Donte DiVincenzo and what are some qualities that makes him such a great Knick. I love Donte DiVincenzo's game. And I'm going to get personal for a second. The thing I love about Donte is his culture. Dude gets culture. He understands how important culture is. Jalen Brunson was his roommate at Villanova. Right? And listen, if I was white, I would be the proudest white person on earth. It doesn't mean I'd be a jerk. No, I wouldn't. I would just be proud of my heritage. Nothing wrong with that. But Donte got some swag. You can look at Donte. Donte appreciates a lot of cultures. His haircut, his little goatee. He plays like he's played with black people. I love that. Those are the type of white boys I played with. I played with white players who could play in any environment. So I love the fact that he is emblematic of New York City's culture. Donte DiVincenzo can't walk down the street in Manhattan without being mobbed by all people. All people, not white, not black, not Latino, not Asian, everybody, Indian, everybody loves this dude because he embodies what the Knicks represent and what the city represents. And when he was in the Bay, he did the same thing. The Bay loved Donte. And I got to credit his parents. I got to credit his own curiosity about life because it matters. And then picking the right college. Villanova. Jay Wright, I think, he did a wonderful job mixing that pot, bringing all these different cultures together, breaking down stereotypical walls. You know, having teammates go into neighborhoods of their roommates that they never would have gone into before. Those are just learning experiences. I feel so lucky to be able to say that I've grown from all those experiences, and it helps you in the basketball court. I think you kind of understand if you played or if you've tried to be somewhat adventurous. I mean, maybe you're a world traveler and you've gone to different countries and you've tried to ingratiate yourself into other cultures. I've done that. And man, did I learn so much. So much. I mean, that you can't really put a price tag on. I remember the first couple of times I went to Thailand, I just saw like families sitting in a circle, in a cipher, eating together, smiling, not a care in the world. I learned so much by collaboration. That's why I like Donte. Donte is a collaborator, right? He's a mixer. You know, he's a real dude. Oh boy. Frank, how long have you been a New York Knicks fan? And who are your favorite childhood players? And it don't have to be in a particular order. Wow. Well, I'm going to say this. I put my New York Knicks knowledge up against anybody. Okay? Anybody. And I know, like, people will challenge you. People will check your stamina. You want to check my stamina on New York Knicks history? Go ahead. Try. I played at Madison Square Garden before. I know what that feels like. You know? Some of my favorite Knicks: Walt Clyde Frazier, John Starks, Bill Bradley, and I got to give Mark Jackson a nod also, because it was such an incredible accomplishment for Mark, you know, a Queens boy, to become a first-round draft pick of the Knicks, number 18th overall, wind up being the MVP. I'm not MVP, Rookie of the Year, excuse me, I'm sorry. But those years leading up to Mark getting to the NBA, he and I played together every summer. So I played at West 4th Street with Mark, played at City College with him, played against him in college and high school. So I was happy to see him have success as a Knick also. So, but John Starks, I love John Starks. Obviously, the Oakleys of the world, Walt Clyde Frazier. Yeah, man, I can go on and on about Knicks. Vicky says, TJD, the guy I would die with. Moody, Kuminga, Pods, Guy Santos. Oh, man. Ouch, Vicky. Vicky, that's a lottery team right there. That team, if they started, wouldn't win 20 games. There's not anybody on that team. I don't know if they have like somebody who's capable of scoring 20 points a game on that five with a really, really bad record. Maybe I'm wrong about Kuminga, but I think all those players are really good complementary players at this point. And this year is going to determine how good they actually become. As she says, hey, Frank, you know so much about the Knicks that you could be a New York Knicks basketball analyst who basically analyzes the team. Yeah, I could. Listening to Monica McNutt as a African-American woman do color for the Knicks on radio, I could not be happier for her. I think it is outstanding growth, and she was a baller. She played at Georgetown, but those types of opportunities happen because the organizations want them to happen. You know, you don't sign up for that. So when you get those opportunities, you have to be ready to take advantage of them, and that's what that's about. But I'm so happy that a person of color like Monica McNutt is getting an opportunity to do something that she's really good at and she loves, and you know, yeah. But I can be an analyst. I've actually done some color, not at the NBA level, but at the high school state championship level. I've done some stuff, and I think I can do pretty good at it, actually. So thank you for the compliment. And Vicky says, Moody, I guess you feel Moody can ascend to a level where he's a 20-point scorer. I'm not so sure about that. I think he's definitely a good player. But he has to get his mid-range game together. He has to improve his handle. Has to have more confidence. I think what Moses Moody has done is in the 3 years that he's played, he's established that he's an NBA player. To what extent, I don't think we know yet. We're going to find out this year. What do you think of the new GM for the WNBA? Is that the Warriors team, Vicky? I'm not quite sure what you mean. Or just the general manager, the commissioner of the WNBA? Is that what you're saying? Help me out. The one thing that I love about the WNBA or the Warriors team, I'm excited for her. I mean, she clearly has the experience. She was the assistant general manager of the New York Liberty. She played basketball at George Washington University. Has a master's degree of some sort in business, I guess. And yeah, that's all we really know about her. But I wish her all the best. She has an excitement in her voice when it comes to women's basketball, and I say let's give her an opportunity to show what she can do. Acquiring players is going to be really, really important because Joe Lacob doesn't like to lose, and to take on this project of building a successful WNBA team, it's not cheap at all. I'm going to say that, and I don't even really know, but $50 million to $100 million, you know? The Seattle Storm, now they won a lot of championships. I'm thinking that the Warriors WNBA team, without even playing a game, is probably worth about $50 million. That's a big time investment. So Lacob wants to see a return on his investment. These ladies now have chartered flights, all of them, which I think is right in line where it should be. The league started in 1997. This is 2024. 27 years later, they have chartered flights. I don't think it's too soon. I don't think it's too late. I think it's right where it should be. I remember when the NBA flew commercially. People now scoff. But no, I remember when the NBA, the players flew commercially. Wasn't that long ago, y'all? Was not that long ago. All right, let me test my pronunciation skills. Hey, Frank, the name of the general manager of the WNBA, the Warriors WNBA team, is Ohima Nyanen. Ohima Nyanen. Ohima Nyanen. Okay. I root for people, man. I want to see a win. Nyanen, the former assistant general manager of New York Liberty, will be responsible for building a team roster and hiring a head coach. Wow. She got to hire the head coach. Whoa, that's big. You guys have any names out there that you think might be appropriate to hire as the first head coach of the Warriors WNBA team? I don't have any off the top of my head, but let's start thinking about it because it matters. It matters. I've been following the Kate Martin story. Caitlin Clark's teammate at Iowa, who was drafted with the 18th pick by the Las Vegas Aces. When she was drafted, there was a lot of comments about how this is a great story, but she basically has no chance of making the team. And as the preseason has gone on, it's become apparent that she has done a really great job ingratiating herself in the Aces culture and in their organization, and she has a great chance of making the team. I think that's fantastic. I really do. And I want to see her play. I mean, she played with a lot of guts. She has the best coaching that she's ever had now at the WNBA level. So I want to see I want to see if she can hang on with all those great players and ultimately develop into a legitimate WNBA player herself. I think it's a great story. Vicky says the Warriors ladies team without a name or players sold out their season tickets. Wow. Can't say I'm all that surprised by that though, Vicky. Listen, I'll meet you at a game. I'm gonna definitely buy a ticket and go to a game. But they're playing in a wonderful arena, in a wonderful city, in San Francisco. They're practicing in Oakland, maybe even living in Oakland. This is a big deal, and this is a hotbed market for women's basketball. So I expect the Warriors team to be very successful. They got to be lucky, though. How awesome would it be for the Warriors dub team to get Paige Beckers? I would love that. Does the WNBA have a minor league for its players? No, it does not. No. I would love to see Sue Bird coach the Warriors WNBA team. CSG, know what you just did? And it's not your fault. But you just showed with that statement that you don't follow women's basketball. You might be like, Red, what are you talking about? Dude, you don't follow women's basketball. Sue Bird, 2 or 3 weeks ago, was named a co-owner of the Seattle Storm. So she's an owner. She's an owner. She's not going to be a coach. And I'm happy for Sue Bird. So no, coaching is done. Vicky says that's too bad. I'm assuming that they don't have a minor league team, right? Yeah, it's tough, man. It's really tough. It's going to take some time, probably a decade. It is a business. It's not an after-school special. Everybody who's putting money into this wants to see a return on the investment. And I think it's going to happen, but it's going to take some time. The NBA's minor league was in tattered for a lot of years. That was not a well-run machine by any stretch of the imagination. Sometimes you had like 2-3 NBA teams using the same G League team. It was a free fall. So it's going to take some time. I only saw the highlights, but I assume some of you all saw it. I was actually doing a show that night. But what do you guys think about Tom Brady's roast? I've heard some of the jokes, some of the highlights about it. A lot of people believe that it brought comedy back. It was the best thing that comedy could have asked for. Some people are upset because of the nature of the jokes. How do you guys feel about it? I think if you're going to do it, then you got to do it. And, that's just my mentality. If I'm going to get roasted, then I have to allow people to do their jobs. And apparently, they did their jobs really, really well. Some of those jokes were outrageous, but funny as hell. Um, Vicky says, again, you have to come up with the money. I've been to 2 Santa Cruz Warriors games. What was that experience like? I haven't gotten down there, but I want to. They got a nice little business down there, though. They really do. They run it like a real business. Jimmy says real comedy is back. No political correctness. That joke about Grunk, oh my God. By Edelman, oh man. Wow. I would love to see Gino Auriemma cook. Why? Why? Why you want to see Gino coach in the WNBA? He's 70 years old. Now, I'm not age shaming him. If that's what he wants to do, fine. But did you know Gino has like a restaurant, casinos up at Connecticut Sun? This dude is loaded. Gino Auriemma, when he retires from UConn, is going to the bank. He's not going to the Bay Area to coach a team, you know, to travel in planes and have 3-4 hour practices and manage. He's done that. He's not doing that crap. Vicky says, I go over the jokes with the person I was roasting. Yeah, well, that's gonna have some impact on it, Vicky. What Tom said apparently was, as long as you don't talk about my kids, everything else is fair game. And I like that. As long as you don't talk about my kids, everything else is fair game. And I like Nikki Glazer. She's kind of raunchy. It takes a lot of like courage and you have to have an adventurous nature to put it out there like that. And she's done it. I think she's funny. Jimmy says, what second round NBA series finishes first in your opinion? Oh, clearly Boston. Clearly Boston. And keep your eye on that, Jimmy, because the Jarrett Allen thing it's kind of weird, right? JB Bickerstaff went from I think he might play to he didn't play on Sunday, and he didn't play yesterday. So keep your eye on Jarrett Allen. I think that two big guy tandem actually has not worked as well as the Rudy Gobert and Cat Towns. So I can see Jarrett Allen being traded. I really could see him being traded. I think the Warriors could use him, but I was having a conversation with a friend of mine who has some intel, and he doesn't really like him. I like him. I think he's, somewhat limited, but the numbers don't lie. Boston should sweep Cleveland. If Cleveland doesn't get swept and they win one game, if they won 2 games, that would say a lot about that organization in terms of where they're going forward. But Boston is so much better than they are. All the other series, I expect to go at least 6 games. The OKC Dallas game, I think is going to go at least 6. The Knicks Indiana Pacers is going to go at least 6. And I'm hoping that the Denver Minnesota goes at least 6 games. If it doesn't, Jokic should take that MVP. repackage it, and send it to SGA because he don't deserve it. If you can't win one game, you're the MVP. Please. SG says Nikki Glazer is funny. Yeah, she is funny. Vicky, help me out. What does this mean? XC, what does that mean? Denver's going down in 4 or 5 games. Really? Would you have said that at the start of this series, Vicky? That sounds like a hot take right now. Thoughts on Nikola Jokic? SG, I already spoke about him winning. I've already spoke about Nikola winning his 3rd MVP. I'm certainly not hating on him. Great player, but he's being embarrassed right now. You know, yeah, they're double teaming him, but he's being embarrassed right now. He's being outplayed. MVP? What? This is, you know, when we watch basketball and we forget about the stats and just watch basketball, the Jordan narrative gets stronger. When you start pulling out all of these ridiculous numbers and these spreadsheets, then Jordan starts to kind of not settle into the pack, but his greatness starts to become questioned. And I'm just going to tell you, some of the things that we've seen happen to quote unquote great players never happened to Michael Jordan. RIP Kobe. A lot of these things that are happening now never happened to Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant, to me, is the most underrated superstar that we've ever seen. It's almost disrespectful at this point. If Kobe Bryant was still with us, I don't think people would be talking the junk that they talk, because Kobe would say something about it. Kobe won 5 championships. He won 2 without Shaq. 81 points in 1 game. No one's even come close. I mean, you could say Devin Booker had 70 against Boston. Yeah, he did. But Jordan was such a marvel defensively. He took on the challenge. I mean, like as good as Anthony Edwards is, do you know if he had to match up against Mitch Richmond, it'd be a battle. Some of you guys don't even know who Mitch Richmond is. You know how good Mitch Richmond was? Labored all of those years in Sacramento in mediocrity. This dude was outstanding. Outstanding. 6'5", 215 pounds, 3-point range, strong as an ox, and a great human being, by the way. I made a bet with the Los Angeles Lakers content creator, and I said that if the Nuggets beat the Lakers in the playoffs, then he would buy and send. Dude, you don't pay your bets. Why are you making bets with people when you don't pay your bets, SG? Why are you doing that? Stop it. Until you pay your bets, stop making bets with people. Vicky says, Wilt scored 100 points. It just doesn't happen. Kobe was just as great. I mean, listen. The one thing that I love about Kobe is Kobe got everything out of his ability. You know how hard that is. I mean, the one thing that we see in LeBron, and we have to comment on these things based on what we see. By all accounts, LeBron has done it the right way. Taking care of his body, spent major dough on whatever he needs to make sure his muscles, his tendons, and everything are in tip-top shape. You can make an argument that Jordan didn't do a great job taking care of his body all the time. What would Mike's numbers have been like if he had taken care of his body? Mike could have played until he's 40. Remember Mike came back on the Wizards and put 50 on the board? Now, it was kind of a circus. He didn't look like LeBron. But, you know, Michael Jordan would go to Atlantic City on off nights, you know, in between series against the Knicks. He hasn't always done a great job taking care of his body and getting the sleep that he needs and doing all the other things that are necessary. Seemingly, LeBron James has. And that's had a positive impact on his legacy. But when Mike was on the court, losing, not competing, The only time that kind of happened was when he played baseball and he came back in the second half of the year and they got beat by Orlando. I think they got swept, right? Or they lost in 5 big games, 6 games, I don't remember. But the following year, they came back and they swept Orlando. They went out and got Rodman, and they swept them. That dude competes. I don't know about this. Nikola Jokic will come out from the dead and he will put fear in the eyes of the Minnesota Timberwolves and he will terrify Anthony Edwards. Come on, man. Really? You know where Anthony Edwards is from? You know what this young man's had to endure in his young 22 years of his life? That dude ain't afraid of nobody. I was happy to hear that, Pat Bev had a public statement, I guess it said that his conduct was inexcusable. We knew that was coming. And I don't know what got into him. And we'll see if he gets another opportunity to get back in the league. I hope he does. He's going to have to pay a big time fine, no doubt about that. But I can't wrap my head around that. That was just inexcusable, totally unprofessional, and it feels like there should be more than just a public apology. To me, something else needs to happen because imagine being humiliated like that producer was. God awful. Vicky says that man is a killer basketball player. Yes, he is. Yes. Pat Bev needs to leave. Go where? Anywhere? Out of the league? Done? Wouldn't surprise me if that happened, Vicky. He needs to go home. Yeah. I also wanted to acknowledge TJ McConnell. He's kind of an irritant, but he's the type of irritant that you love if he's on your team. This dude was undrafted out of Arizona. Son of a coach. And all he does is play 100% all the time. I got a lot of love for TJ McConnell. The guy does not look like he should be an NBA player, but he is. He's a damn good one, and I got to give him all the credit in the world. I was happy that Halliburton didn't suck tonight. He had 34 points, but it was a soft 34. It wasn't like he dominated the game, but at least he put some numbers up. But there was some conversations around whether or not TJ McConnell should be playing over Halliburton at times because he puts more pressure on Jalen Brunson. So I just want to acknowledge him because, for him to make it to where he has made it and to still be thriving in the league after, it's probably like his 6th or 7th year. This dude's going to play in the NBA probably 12, 13 years. Vicky, everybody's thinking the same thing. What would happen if Draymond Green did what Pat Bev did? Oh, forget about it. Forget it. 30 games, counseling. Yeah, you're right. There's a double standard, and partly that double standard exists, and I think it's probably going to hurt Pat Bev. He's had some other things that happened in his career that have not been positive. He threw the ball at the woman. I guess he hit her in the head. He threw it back. I don't know what the outcome ultimately is. Will there be some type of civil suit against Pat Bev where you got to pay some money? Maybe. You do something like that, then you expect to get bit on the hand. The league's going to bite you. And if someone has an opportunity to get some money for something that you did that was totally inappropriate, then you would expect them to do that also. Okay. Hey, Frank, you should watch the movie Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Why? Why should I do that? Have you ever seen the original Planet of the Apes? Get your damn dirty paws off of me. With Charlton Heston? That's the best one. That narrative, that story's been told before. Why should I watch that? Whenever I do movie reviews, I don't tell people to watch a particular movie. I tell you about the movie. I tell you some of the aspects why I think it's good, and I say, yo, go check it out if you like what I just said. But you didn't give us any explanation or nothing. Just go watch this movie. Why? Okay, now you actually making a little sense. Hey, Frank, another movie that you should watch is Back to Black, the true story of American singer. She's not an American singer. She's from London. A true story of American singer Amy Winehouse, who is known for songs such as Rehab and Valerie. I love her. I love Amy Winehouse. I've actually, I saw her documentary. I thought that was excellent. She's a phenomenal songwriter, and I'm definitely going to go check the movie out. A lot of, people have kind of sniped at the, the biopic, but I got to watch it. I mean, she is truly one of the great artists that we've seen in the past 30 years. Unfortunately, she had an untimely death. Key says, Frank, do you think Gobert is underrated? Yeah, I do. And the reason why I think that Rudy Gobert is underrated is because he's not well liked. People don't like him, and I get it. I understand that too. We can't get the picture from our collective minds of this guy with those big gigantic hands rubbing the mic, like COVID doesn't exist. We're never going to lose that. We're never going to forget that. He apologized. We can forgive him. Life goes on. It was a horrible event for all people around the world. But talk about an unfunny moment. I'm not going to call it selfish because I don't think that he probably has that in his heart. But talk about one of the most want to get away Southwest Airline moments. Want to get away? Can you imagine the ratings and the popularity of Rudy Gobert doing a Southwest Airlines commercial, doing that? And I'm going to say this. I'm not judging him. It's just me. The fact that he wasn't at the game because his girlfriend, fiance, was having a child, his child, first child. I get that 1,000 times, right? But I think Draymond said this, and I didn't see it. But once the baby is here, once my girlfriend, fiance, wife is okay, I'm going to the game. I'm not missing that game. I'm there, supporting my teammates. Once God has blessed us and my son is breathing and all the vitals and my lovely fiance is cool and she's all right, baby, I gotta go. I'm not missing that game. That's just me. There's a lot of people that feel that way. Some don't. Key says, I agree. Euro players get labeled soft. He's got stronger and better. Listen, dude is a 4-time defensive player of the year. He's going to win it again this year. He just won it. Excellent defensive player. No one can say he's not. Now, Keys, he's played during an era of collectively weak centers. Shaq would go through him. Are you kidding me? Shaq was a monster that nobody wanted to deal with. Rudy Gobert didn't play against Hakeem Olajuwon. He didn't play against Pat Ewing. He didn't play against Yao Ming. So in his era, he dominated. But it's okay for us to say, lucky he was born when he was born. Because he didn't play in an era of great centers. He just didn't. And had he played in that era, it would have been harder for him. He didn't play against Tim Duncan. He didn't play against Dikembe. Dikembe Mutombo won 4 Defensive Player of the Year awards also. But with that said, Rudy Gobert was drafted number 27th overall. Played in the G League. This is not a guy who anybody saw ascending to the point that he ascended to. In actuality, you know what? If Minnesota wins a championship, I think he has to be in the Hall of Fame. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame, particularly if they win a championship. Probably make it anyway. Great perspectives, Frank. Never thought of that. No more great traditional big men. Nah. No. Didn't play in that era. He played in the small ball Golden State Warrior era. And didn't, they didn't win championships. But he distinguished himself quite well, playing what we viewed as a center position. But he didn't play against a lot of great centers. He just didn't. Dallas has to win tomorrow If OKC goes up 0-2 against Dallas, that's not going to be good for them. And it's interesting because usually I wouldn't say this, but I think Dallas needs to get on top of OKC and really get cooking. Luka and Kyrie, I mean, they need to put up like at least 30 apiece. 30 apiece. Because OKC is formidable on the perimeter. They're going to put points up also. So Dallas is going to depend on their front court players to score. That's just not who they are. The scoring has to come from Luka and Kyrie. Luka and Kyrie. They got to put numbers up. Vicky says the Warriors won championships with Looney as their center. Exactly. Yeah. Now, Vicky, I was watching the Knicks game tonight, and everybody else listening to the program. Hartenstein kind of reminds me of who's the Warriors center from Australia? He comes from Milwaukee. I had his name at the top of my tongue. That's how Hartenstein plays to me. I mean, he was like 14 points tonight, 13 rebounds, 9 assists. Why can't I think of this guy's name? That's what he plays like. Hartenstein's days as a backup are over. Somebody's going to write that guy a big check. Can't see the Knicks letting him go. Yeah, Andrew Bogut. Thank you, Ron. I have the smartest audience. Thank you. Isaiah Hartenstein reminds me of like a low-key Andrew Bogut. He's not as gifted a passer. I don't think he is, but I think he's tougher than Bogut. I love the way Hartenstein plays. He's a Knick. He plays like your typical Tom Thibodeau player. He really does. Joakim Noah, elbows and guts. That's how he plays. I would love to see. That's what the Warriors need. They need a 7-foot guy who's hanging on people's shots, tough rebounds, offensive rebounds, dunks. He shoots 70-some% from the free throw line. I keep telling you guys, if Trey Jackson-Davis is going to take that next leap, that dude should be shooting minimum 75% from the free throw line. When are we going to see a video of Trey Jackson-Davis on YouTube making 50 free throws in a row? When are we going to see that? Thanks, Vicky Bogut. I got to see that. That is a difference of him being a starter or kind of being a guy who's kind of okay. Free throw shooting is not hard. Vicky says, I wish the Warriors could get him. Yeah, I do too. I can't see that happening. But go out there and find a guy. Go find somebody. Isaiah Hartenstein played 10 minutes a game when he was on Denver. He played maybe 13 minutes a game when he was on the Clippers. That's it. This dude played with Denver and the Clippers before. Why can't the Warriors go out and develop a player like that? Is the Drake and Kendrick Lamar thing over? I hope it is. Because let me tell you my thing about this. About Drake and Kendrick Lamar. The first time that I heard Kendrick Lamar's song, Euphoria, I didn't need to hear anything else. That was already on a level of a Eminem, Jay-Z, LL Cool J, you know, all of the top diss tracks. KRS-One, The Bridge Is Over, you know, a masterpiece. What I don't like, and call me old school, and I'm out of touch, or whatever the case, I don't like it when rappers are fed information to prepare to write diss tracks. I don't like that. Because what we found is some of that stuff apparently is not true on both sides. And isn't a diss track when you're just kind of taking information to kind of tear people down? I don't care who the rappers are. I don't like that. And there was some implication that some of the information at some point between Drake and Kendrick was not true on both sides. I don't like that. Vicky says 5 times Looney missed free throws and the Warriors lost by 1. Yeah, exactly. I mean, Vicky, Looney's been in the league now for damn near 10 years. He shoots in the 60s free throw percentage. That's unconscionable. You're telling me that if you're in the gym and you're taking 300 free throws, 500 free throws per session, you're going to shoot in the 60s? No way. It's not that hard of a shot. It's not. I saw Hartenstein today on the Knicks just knocking them down. Cha-ching. There's another $100,000. There's another $100,000. That really bothers me. All right, y'all. I'm going to get out of here. I want to be respectful of your time. I want to thank you for stepping in the dungeon with me tonight. And might pop off tomorrow. Who knows? Tomorrow, Friday. Definitely got my Sunday slot locked in. But I might step in even before that. We've got 2 good games tomorrow. Well, at least one. We got 2. Denver plays Minnesota, and Dallas plays OKC. Or does Boston play? I think we got 3 games tomorrow. I might step in. All right. Hit the like button, please. Follow me on X. And subscribe to this program if you don't already subscribe. All right? You're tough, Vicky. Teams need to find players for missing free throws. If only you could do that. Keys, thank you, brother. Thank you for stepping in, man. I appreciate you. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thanks, Frank. Great show. Yeah. I love to do what I do, man. All right. Success in getting paid is a manifestation of the whole process. If you as an individual don't do things to help other people make their lives better, as far as I'm concerned, you haven't done nothing. SJ, I read a lot of your comments. I'm not going to read all of your comments. All right? Thank you. I appreciate y'all. Everybody have a great night.